What's good, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social medias, including TikTok, Vine, MySpace, WhatsApp, Zanga. Help me out here, Frank. What's some other dead social media things that kids used to do?
Tinder.
You know what? Tonight I'm going to go on Tinder and create a Full Circle podcast profile. Not me, like literally the podcast.
That would be amazing, dude. I'm gonna go download the app and make my own account just to see if I can find you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, man. See if you can match with the Tinder taste of Full Circle podcast. Get to know the podcast on a very intimate, personal level. Take your listening experience to its ultimate climax.
I love how you used the word climax there. That's so fitting.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, everybody, welcome back to another wonderful week of the show. As you know, we are doing E3 month because it's basically a month long at this point. And you know what's crazy, Frank? The show has not even technically actually started.
No, not at all. And there's I feel like so much has happened already.
Right? Yeah, so much has happened. You see, if you hop on Twitter and see anything with games, it is just crazy all over the place. And as always, you're joining me all month long. And Francisco Aguilar, in case the people at home don't know who you are, they didn't listen last week and they've never listened before. Who are you and what do you do, real quick, for the people?
First of all, shame on them for never listening because they should be, and they will be from now on. So yeah, my name's Francisco Aguilar. I'm based out of Houston, Texas, technically Katy. So I'm a YouTuber. I YouTube. I do content around gaming tech reviews. So I review gaming headsets, microphones, streaming and content creation gear. Occasionally do a podcast with some friends of mine from Puerto Rico. You've been on the show a few times before. It's called the Weekly Farcast, and if you guys and gals want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at GNR_Frank, and same exact thing for Twitter and
Oh,
YouTube.
that's what's up. That's what's up. And, E3 2021 Full Circle Podcast correspondent, of course,
Official.
official. You know what I'm saying? Got your business cards in the mail already. And being such, like we said, there's so many new things going on. This week we're gonna be talking about Summer Game Fest. Jeff Keighley's, a little pet project, which I can't even call it a pet project. It almost sounds insulting because if you think about the Game Awards was his pet project, and look at it now. It's
Yeah,
Big
it's
Daddy.
big. Yep. Screw the
Uh,
Oscars. Who was it that said that? Jason Ferris? Yeah, he said it a
Basically.
little bit. Yeah, he said it a little bit more colorfully than that, but
Yes. But before that, we're going to be talking about some indie games that were announced and games that just were announced because the weird thing about this time that we talked about last show is that it's still kind of happening. A lot of games are just being shadow dropped. It's just like, hey, this is coming out. Just wanted y'all to know. And
I love
disappeared.
that. I love that. I love that. And there's rumors about a really cool game being shadow dropped on tomorrow, and I can't wait to see if it's true or not.
Ooh,
Do you want to talk about the game now? No,
no,
never
no.
mind. No, no.
We're going to save it. I don't know what it is, but I got
We gotta
my
save it for later.
tinfoil hat ready for this
Let's do this.
nonsense. But before that, in case y'all didn't know, people, today, as of listening right now, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is finally out. So there goes my weekend. And Final Fantasy VII remake PS5 remake version remake of the remake for PS5 slash Final Fantasy VII remake DLC intrograde, retrograde, telegrade, all over the world grade is also out. So if you wasn't busy keeping up with the E3 news that's going to happen tomorrow and Saturday as well, you got those two games. And I believe my boy Frank's got some time with Final Fantasy VII Remake PS5 edition, a remake of a remake. Wait, a remaster of a remake? A
I think
rescaling?
I think you're on under something here. It's like a remaster of a remake, integrated with new content.
Oh,
Like
okay.
like a remaster. I don't even know. That's a whole lot of shenanigans for one title of a game. But yeah, man, I was smart enough to keep my PlayStation 4 copy and not get rid of it after I beat the game. Um, Uploaded it, downloaded it, installed the updates and upgrades and everything else. I spent about 20 minutes so far with the base game itself. I haven't played any of the DLC because sadly, us PS4 physical disc owners have to actually purchase the DLC separately. But that makes perfect sense. Dude, the game looks so beautiful. Like it looks, and playing it on PS4, you can tell, at least I felt like this game is clearly meant to be played on the next generation of consoles. Like there's no way that it's not because dude, it looks absolutely gorgeous and it's at 60 FPS, man. And when you're playing that game with Cloud and doing all these action hacking and slashing and all this kind of stuff, it's so buttery smooth, bro. Like I know it's kind of cliche and cheesy to say this, but it really is like playing the game for the first time all over again and it still gives me the feels every time, dude. Love it.
Ooh. All right. So I need to ask because it did not look bad on PS4. One could argue it was
Not
one of
one
the
bit.
best PS4 looking games, one of the best looking games on the PS4 to date, which I don't think anyone will
Yep.
argue that. And you're saying it still looks dramatically better from that.
Dude, you like it, you have to see it to believe it, but like it's like you're absolutely right. Final Fantasy VII Remake was one of the best looking PS4 games, but they managed to really just like make these textures look so fresh, so clean, crispy, like just absolutely beautiful. The lighting just it's so well. It looks like the CGI, like very first teaser trailers that we got when you see Barrett and Cloud like walking through like some sort of marketplace. All right, dude. Like it's like you remember how when Advent Children came out and you're like, man, I really wished games looked like this one day. This game is that, dude, but even better looking.
Ooh. Ooh. And real quick, just to clear up a confusion, can you jump directly into the DLC or do you actually have to play through the game again?
I don't know, only because I upgraded my PS4 copy to the PS5 version of the game, but because I went through the upgrade route, I would have to buy the DLC separately. And I'm gonna assume that you probably have to get to a certain point in the game or maybe even just beat the whole thing and then be able to play the Yuffie content, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. All right. Just make sure. I was under the impression you could just buy the Yuffie content and then just play the Yuffie content, which that would make the most sense because
Yeah.
I beat the game twice. Once on regular, once on hard to get the trophies and stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not willing to rebeat the game because I am. I completely am.
Oh
I just
yeah,
don't want
dude.
to do it before I play the Yuffie content.
Let's see. I'm trying to look it up here.
But
Oh, you can buy it separately and just play it separately.
oh, okay, cool, cool. We're looking at an infamous Second Son and infamous First Light situation where you didn't even have to own infamous Second Son or play the game to play the DLC, which is
Oh
honestly
yeah.
kind of smart. I kind of like that method.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, remake is although it's such a small portion of the game, it is a very long game. Like for how much content, how much of the story of Final Fantasy VII it encompasses, it is a very long game. So to have to play through the whole thing all over again to then be able to play the Yuffie content would be kind of a tall order. So
To have to
I'm
fight
glad they still
Hell
able to do
House
that,
again to get to the Yuffie content would be a tall
dude.
order.
Dude. Dude, or the freaking boss in the sewers, when Don Corneo like dumps you down into the sewers. That dude was he was a little rough.
Oh, his little. Oh, it's because he has that stupid water attack that pretty much one hit KOs you
Yep.
if it hits. And the thing is, it's
Yeah.
not hard to dodge. It's just really hard for your computer companions to dodge for some reason.
Yes, dude. God, freaking NPC party companions. I wish I could just control all of them simultaneously at all times.
Yes, I really wish there was a mode where kind of just since they have free roam to be like here, go here, just stand here, defend this spot, attack from this spot, heal from this spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Like kind of issuing commands, like movement commands, kind of like in Mass Effect, where you press left or right to assign somebody to go, take cover and behind this one wall or one object. That would be very helpful. But, you say that it's something that would make a lot of sense. But Odell, you got to understand, man, things that are sensible and logical really have no room in this world in this day and age. So, c'est
You,
la vie, man.
you know what? You're perfectly right about that. because there's so many times where I'm like, ooh, I need to heal. And Aerith, she can really heal me right now, but she's too busy
But
trying to
she
fight like
doesn't.
some level 3 monster while the boss is doing its thing, and I'm just like, heal, heal, heal. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to manually control her to move to a safe spot to complete her spell. But I know when I switch, here comes the guy I was just controlling being a jackass somehow and getting himself killed. And I was like, well, now I gotta cast, revive or drop a Phoenix Dawn. I forget what revive is called in Final Fantasy, but
I try raise or revive. I think you're right though. I think it is a revive. Dude, it's like the meme about Kingdom Hearts where like Donald uses up all the potions and mega potions in your inventory and all his magic and he can't heal you.
pretty much.
Like, my lord.
And no matter how many times the options they get, it's always like, NPCs free to do what they want, defensive mind, attack only. Attack only is pretty much code word for your NPC will die at the first second it can of every fight, no matter what you're fighting.
Yep.
Defensive
Guaranteed.
defensive minded means your NPC will never attack ever at all.
They're just kind of stand there and kind of look at you as you do all the heavy lifting and they're just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, and then my favorite where it's like, aid Sora when needed, or your character means the second your character stubs your toe, they're ready to heal, give you all the support. But dear God, let you be with like 10 hit points left, dodging things like you have ultra instinct, praying to God they do something. And it's like, I don't know, man. I think you got this one.
Dude, you know what game did that whole like command system the absolute best? Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, was not expecting that answer.
The Gambit system is probably one of my favorite systems in a Final Fantasy game, dude. Like once you get far enough into the game and you get a whole bunch of the Gambits unlocked, you can literally like just play the game in cruise control. And a lot of people don't like that aspect about the game, but like you can set them to heal you at like 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10% of your life. And they'll heal you exactly at that point in time
You know,
and more.
I have no problem with that because I like a game that will reward me for taking the time to fine tune a system.
Hmm. And that game surely does, man.
Also, I will say this 90% of the time, especially in JRPGs, no matter how much you fine tune a system, boss battles always require like high level thinking and like swapping between characters if that's, a type of game where it does that. So I'm like, I have no problem with my NPCs basically being on auto win, autopilot for my everyday encounters because I fine tune them to be so. And then, during boss battles, I really have to be on my stuff or just harder segments of the game
Right.
because nothing
Right.
pisses me off more than my NPCs performing immaculately on like the level 12 enemies. But the second we're like at level or a little, under level, they're just like chickens with their heads cut off.
It's like, what am I supposed to do? I forgot. Dude, it happens all the
Exactly.
time. Hey, I told you before we started recording that like I was coming in with the hot takes today. So we're
Oh,
gonna start right now. You
oh,
ready?
let's go. I'm ready.
Final Fantasy 12 is the best in the series. It's better than 7.
Ooh, you know what? Let's. I'm gonna put a little pause button right there. Let's all be real, people. Final Fantasy VII is the most iconic game in this series, but I think it's far from the best Final Fantasy. I think that's just
Thank you.
a statement we all just need to understand is simply factually true.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Great game. Don't you're I think you said it the best. It is an iconic game. Can't take that away from it. It's just it is what it is. But Final Fantasy 12, in my opinion, right? I don't speak for the people. I'm not the people's champ. Um, it's just it's like the best one in the whole series. It's got the better gameplay and the story and the dialogue and the way everything's written and the characters and like who's the main character of Final Fantasy 12?
Leon? Is that's eight?
Oh my god.
I don't know. Why'd you put me on the spot
Well,
like this? I was not ready.
well, so
Squall?
most answers would say God, Vaughn. Most people would say Vaughn is the main character, but really it's all of them. Like the whole story for 12 is basically almost like the Canterbury Tales, where it's like everyone has their own little story and it all comes together throughout the whole course of the game. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But that's enough about that.
All right,
Squall and Leon are the same person, dude.
I know that was the joke. I swear that I did not know the protagonist of 12, but the Squall and Leon thing was a joke. It's the running joke in Kingdom Hearts, actually. But I digress. But I'll take it one step further than you, because I've actually said this about Final Fantasy VII before. Would just before I say this, Frank, I have a real question. Would you say games that are truly timeless, truly great, would you say that they're timeless in the sense that, it doesn't matter if you play them back then or now, that they're still the same great game it was then as it was to now? I.e.,
Yeah.
Mario 64. Would you still say you could play Mario 64 right now in its original form and it will still be a good game as it was back then?
No, not Mario 64. I don't think. And that's a wow. That's a fine line to walk, Odell, because like Mario 64 is a great game, but it is not timeless. It has no place in modern day. Like I couldn't boot up a copy of it on 64, and I wouldn't think I would enjoy it as much.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with you. I think it's timeless, but you approve my point of my next statement. I'll say 2D games are more easy to be timeless, like Super Mario World. Would you say that's timeless?
Yes,
Okay,
actually, absolutely yes.
okay. That's all. That's all I need to know. You think Super Mario World is timeless? It is. I think Super Mario 64 is also timeless. That's debatable. But my point is, Final Fantasy VII is not timeless at all. I would even say it's damn near unplayable by today's standards.
It's hard to go back and play it, which is why I have a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake in my PS5 right now, dude.
Yes, so when people say Final Fantasy VII is the best Final Fantasy VII, up until this remake, that game is a chore to play. And I mean, and not just because of JRPG, just in the worst ways possible. It is really hard to tell where you're going in some dungeons because of the graphical limitations. It's, I mean, really hard. The random battle mechanics in the game are damn near soul breaking.
Ooh, elaborate. I'm sorry. Who hurt you?
Okay, because all right, so in my original play of Final Fantasy VII, there's a part where you're getting the open world, and you get the ability to cross rivers when you get your airship and blah blah blah. The point is, there's a point in the game where you can kind of more or less go anywhere, and if you dare get a little too far from where you're gonna be, and the game doesn't really tell you where you're supposed to go, so you're really just kind of exploring at your own whim. But if you explore too far off the beaten path, NPCs will start to wreck you nonstop. Yep. And the battles happen so random and so quick that like you can literally just get to spots where you're just done. You cannot progress. Like you can't get back to where you're supposed to be because the NPCs keep killing you nonstop.
That's painful. There's two islands in Final Fantasy VIII like that. The island closest to heaven and the island closest to hell. And one of them has these Marlboros, dude. That's all that spawns there. And every time you start to fight, they do bad breath immediately, and they literally put every single negative status effect on your whole party every single time. You go there when you're not supposed to go there, game over, man.
Yeah, and there's really nothing but. Okay, yes, people understand that like there's guides and stuff, but not always. There's a lot of points in Final Fantasy VII where I feel like that can happen, and most likely will happen to any player at least once. And there's just some other things that didn't age well with that game. So up until this remake, I'm just like, you really kind of had to be there for Final Fantasy VII because unlike other Final Fantasies, like 10, 12, 4. 6 technically, depending on talking about US to Japanese release, that you can go back and play and still have a great time. I've always felt like you could not, if you missed the boat the first time and it was like, oh, the year is 2012, let me go back and play Final Fantasy VII, you will probably not have a good time.
No,
Story-wise, it will still probably be amazing.
But gameplay? Ooh.
Yeah.
Graphics, man, those Roblox, they look good back then, man.
But I digress. I digress. So at the top of the show, you were telling me we're talking about shadow drops. So what game do you think is about to be shadow dropped tomorrow?
So I've been hearing a very strong rumor that Jedi Fallen Order is going to be shadow dropped tomorrow. PS5, Xbox Series versions. Owners of the PS4 or previous gen versions will obviously get the upgrades for free, but word on the street is like it's going to be dropping tomorrow, and
Ooh.
uh, that's a great game to replay again. I played it on PS4, I played it on PC, and I might have to be buying something else along with Ratchet and Clank, dude.
Oh, that's good. This is gonna sound crazy, but I have never been able to get into Star Wars games.
Oh,
I know, I know, I know.
oh, dude, talk about timeless. Okay, this is wonderful. I love how these things happen. They're just so organic. I went on a trip to Louisiana a couple weeks ago, and I don't have a Switch because I sold my Switch. And so they have Knights of the Old Republic on iOS, so I downloaded it on my iPad. And Odell, like, you missed out on probably one of the better RPGs that BioWare has ever made, dude. And that game looks hideous by today's standards, but that's one game that I think to me is timeless. Like I could play that. I played several hours of it, dude. I hope they remake it, man. You need to play that. It's so good.
People
So
been asking for a KOTOR remake, Knights of the Old Republic people, a KOTOR remake for a while, and you know, granted, all the Star Wars games I've played, I've never played Knights of the Old Republic. So I understand people. People will instantly tell me, "Well, duh, that's the best one." So I can get why you never enjoyed them because you didn't play the best one. Okay, but I don't know if it would hit well because the big spoiler twist has already been spoiled to high heavens for me. So I'm just
uh,
kind of like, would it hit the same? It's like playing Bioshock after someone spoils the ending for you. It's like it will still be a good game, but will it be the experience that it was meant to be?
I think it all depends on what angle you take when you're approaching it, right? Because like Ghost of Tsushima, I streamed it day one, and within like the first 2 hours, somebody hopped into my Twitch chat and spoiled the ending for me. Like like dead to rights, everything in detail. And I was like, ah, gee, thanks, man, appreciate that. Still ended up beating it, loving it. I think so. Real quick before I finish the statement, like Star Wars fan, not at all. Like you just never really got into it, the movies and all that kind
Casual
of stuff. Or
fan, casual fan.
casual, okay. So I think it'd be something that you would enjoy if you enjoy the world of Star Wars because you could still enjoy Knights of the Republic when you look at it for like what it is and enjoy it for all the things Star Wars that it does, right? Because I mean, yeah, the ending and the spoiler is cool, but it was really more so about the ability, or not even the ability. It was more so about the fact that it took you through a journey of like becoming a Jedi, building your lightsaber, building up your party, going through all these worlds, being light side, dark side. Making people. Do these two guys try to rob you outside of a bar? And you can be dark side enough that you tell them instead to give you their money and you can make them jump off the bridge.
Oh.
So it's little things like that, right? I think that makes the game more than the ending itself does.
Okay. Okay. So we're talking about Mass Effect levels of choice and character development.
Yeah, BioWare made a KOTOR, so
Oh, okay.
exactly,
All right.
spot on.
There we go. I will say this. I will say this real quick. I know we're gonna have a Mass Effect special episode, but I need to say this. So I'm on Mass Effect 3, and dear God, I hate the fights in Mass Effect 3. Like
I've
I
only played it once. Which ones? Like all of them in general,
no, just
or
just all encounters, just because I get that you know, cover shooters and shooters had evolved since then, and I feel like it's really trying to do too much. Like I can jump in 360 angles, like it's like Shepard. They want him to do so much. I'm just like, get behind cover. Don't jump over cover. Don't jump behind the wall. Don't do this. The enemies are super duper aggressive, and I get to try to make it actiony and stuff, but it's just like there's so many encounters where I die because like I feel like so much is going on, and they try to give me all these cool things to do, and I'm just like, since I'm playing them back to back, like I'm just used to using bionic powers and doing cool things, and now you're like
right?
having these guys running me like uh Marines from Halo or something, and all this craziness is going on. I mean, it's not like impossibly hard or anything, but it's
Right.
just so dramatically different from everything before it, to where I'm just like, and I have future knowledge of how it's supposed to work. And granted, yes, this is a game from the past, but I'm just like, ooh, now that I know how these systems work flawlessly, and now I see this, and now I'm going back to that early,
It's hard
mid
to do that.
2000, where they just hadn't got it right yet.
Yeah.
Oof, ugh,
It's a little rough around
hard.
the edges, huh?
Yeah, it's just like, oh god, I know this was cutting edge at the time, but this is so bad. I feel,
Like,
I'm gonna save that for that.
it's like playing Mario 64 these days, right?
You know
Just
what?
kidding.
I will say this. After getting the Mario 3D All Star Collection, I will play Mario 64 over Sunshine any given day. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave
Noted.
it at that. Because Mario 64 controls better than Sunshine, but I'm gonna leave it at that. And it's the better game, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, but for real, we're
I,
moving on.
I wasn't cool enough to own a GameCube, so
Oh
never even
man.
played Sunshine.
Oh man. I mean, I want to tell you you're missing a lot, but you're missing a unique experience. How about that? And
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. Okay. So before we get into some announcements, I really want to talk about this because we joked about this, but it's actually happening now. And
Well, that's scary. We joke about a lot of things. What in the world is happening?
okay, we've all talked about Game Pass being built into your TV,
Oh God, yes, dude.
but a literal Xbox in the TV is just mind-blowingly next level.
That's just so meta, dude. That's not even meta. That's so alpha, bro. It's over. Like that's incredible. That's incredible.
Bro, I didn't even know how to feel. I was just like, there it is. That like like duh. They were like, why stop at Game Pass on the TV? Why not just have
Right,
your whole entire
exactly.
Xbox? This it is what the Xbox One was supposed to do. It has transcended like, the physical realm. It is enlightened. It has left us mortals in our mortal realm of understanding.
Dude, it's like the Microsoft Xbox ecosystem is a literal swarm and it is just taking over like with like no regard to anything in its way. Like and going onto TV apps and a streaming device was the most logical next step for this to happen. And it's great. Like I've been telling people, personal friends, people at work, everywhere, like, yeah, I'm Sony pony till the day that I die, dude. But to see Xbox do this, it's exciting. It's incredible to see it happen, especially when you take into consideration, like, what previous gen was like for Microsoft, and then look at them now, dude. They're gonna have their application on smart TVs. Like, what more could you ask for? How many more people are about to start playing Game Pass and Xbox exclusives and all of the games that there are other studios that put on there? Like that's so monumentally huge, and I don't think even people truly we understand it, but I don't think we truly get the full scope of what's about to happen with that.
Oh yeah, not at all. The only thing that can make this better for me, the only thing, they're not gonna do it, but if they did, Francisco, if they did, if they put a disk drive into the TV, oh my lord.
Oh man, why wouldn't they?
What?
Why?
Like,
Clearly, the console sales aren't their big focus. So like, why wouldn't they? You're right. It's probably not going to happen, but
could you imagine a disk drive in your TV?
yeah,
That
why
that
why not?
why they're not going to, but yes, Xbox TV. And I'm just wondering who are they going to partner with? Clearly not Sony, or they could, but probably not.
Toshiba, something like that.
I feel so bad for laughing at that. Like, I'm pretty sure they are a reputable company with goals.
They are. They are. They're very reputable.
But yeah, like it's like you said, it's such an alpha move. It's because Game Pass was such just the obvious choice, and that's boring.
Yeah.
Obvious is boring.
I don't know, man. Obvious is it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, only for Nintendo. Only for Nintendo. Everybody else.
Listen. They can do all this TV shenanigans. They can put all these little streaming sticks. I don't care what they do. But for me, the takeover won't be complete until Game Pass and xCloud are on Switch. When that happens, and ladies and gentlemen, when
Oh,
that happens, it's over. That's it.
mm.
That's it. And by next generation, PlayStation and Sony change their methods too. Guarantee. If it does happen, Odell, PlayStation and Sony change their approach to how they do their games.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. At this rate, like Sony has to be like Nintendo. They've been quiet for so long on not really quiet because they have Ratchet and Clank, some games coming out. But they've been so quiet on the innovation front. Unless PS VR 2 is about to change the landscape of gaming, they have to have something else in their pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think so? Not a little
VR's
chance.
too niche. I mean, like it'll be like I'm sure they'll do some great things, and I'm sure that it'll be innovative and improve upon its predecessor. But I think VR it still doesn't have that wide reach, that mass appeal, because you still got to go out there and buy the extra headset and the extra things to get it all to work, right? So I think that we're still a ways away from VR being like a mainstream thing in gaming, if you will.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I will say this: if gaming TVs become a thing, not TVs made for gaming, but TVs made for gaming. See what I did there? But I feel like, I'm like Sony. That should be easy for you. I mean, you make TVs and you make the PlayStation. You just gotta, just make that happen. Should be really easy. Honestly, I feel like since Microsoft has said this, they should be doing that right now. They should just have already made a whole new R&D section to just make that happen.
Yeah, why not? They've got the money.
They got the money. And again, they have to save on the overhead because they're already doing both things. I don't know how hard it would be to put them together, but like I'm gonna go cartoony. Like you get like a screwdriver and like you just screw the PlayStation on the TV and boom, you're halfway there.
Picture this, Odell. Xbox Series T.
Well, that's it, folks. Have a great week. I'm Elden Harmon Jr. Follow me at Elden Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. Frank, where can the people find you at?
Hopefully in some skyscraper in Seattle at Microsoft's offices. Or that $1 billion idea I just gave them.
That's it, everybody. This is the last show. We have officially sold out. That's it.
I mean, dude, why not, man?
Oh, man. And it's funny because you said that like you think it's really not as obvious as it should be.
I've got water coming out of my eyes right now.
Ooh, I needed that. Well, let's actually talk about some of these cool announcements we got. So as I said earlier in the show, we got the Day of the Devs put on by I Am 8-Bit, and we got what I'm gonna call super indie game showcase, but showcase in the sense of like think of more like a state of play, but for 16 different indie games. And we've been saying this for a long time, people. Indie games have been the thunderous marching drum beat of the gaming industry, and this shows it that this many indie games could have got such a big individual showcase with, one of the bigger games being Axiom Verge 2, which is just really filling a Metroid hole in everyone's heart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I actually reviewed Axiom Verge a long, long time ago when it first came out. Great game, honestly. I honestly wasn't a fan of the 8-bit style, only because at times, just because there's so much action going on that it can get, the pixels can get a little confusing, and it's a hard game. So like, there's a lot of chaos, but that's a minor critique. It only gets bad at some points, and bad per me, per me. But we got some other cool games that I saw. Specifically for me, Death's Door looked really cool, and I don't know why, but there's always a farming game sim, and this time it's the Wandering Village, and I just don't get it. But people love those games.
Have any of these people actually worked on a farm before, or ever even been on a farm?
That is a hell of a, like, I'm pitching an idea now. I'm just gonna pitch. I'm like, have any of these guys ever worked on a farm? Been stranded on a desert island? Worked the land to any capacity?
My grandfather in Central America, he had 2 farms. So like when I would live over there as a kid, I used to go to them all the time. I learned how to ride horses and other things, right? Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. I used to have to cut grass with a machete. I know people are probably going to clown me real hard for saying that, but like it's true. Like, I mean, I did that for like 5 minutes, and then the farm hands did all the rest of the work. But maybe that's why. Maybe they don't want to do the dirty work and they just play it on a video game instead. But I don't know. I've never been into the farming since. I tried Stardew Valley, dude. I swear I gave it like 3 hours. I really tried. And as soothing and as calming as it was, dude, I reached a level of zen that I haven't hit in a long time. I just couldn't do it.
my thing is, with those games, I really don't like the ones that try to combine farming with like some type of combat. Like it's half farming and doing city building, and half like dungeon crawler doing things, because then if the combat and like dungeon stuff ends up being really good, then I'm just like, I never want to go back to the farm. Don't make me do this. It's almost like punishment.
The only game to ever like execute like a small portion of farming and combat flawlessly is Diablo 2. You ever play the secret cow level?
I did not.
Dude, there's a literal cow level in the game that you have to unlock a portal to, and it's just cows with like axes and halberds and swords. And they just walk around saying moo, 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 moo. And you literally just go around killing a whole bunch of cows. And they drop really good loot, but yeah.
I don't think that counts.
Oh, okay. I tried.
But hey, I mean, video games are art is a expression, etc. That whole bit. So if that was farming, hey, I mean, some people farm for fruit, some people farm for lives, and some people farm for loot.
Oh my God, I was about to say, I hope to God the man says loot right now, because it's just, yes, thank you, Odell. That was great, dude.
What is that? Put that on a poster, sell it, copy, print it, ship it, profit. It'll be the new eat, pray, love for gaming.
Set that as your background or your new Xbox Series T.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that. So it was real cool to see the indie games get highlighted. But all right, people, let's talk about the meat and potatoes. I know what y'all are thinking. When are they gonna get to the meat and potatoes? We're here. It's meat and potatoes time. And by meat and potatoes time, I mean it is the Death Stranding and the Elden Ring show. Some other things got announced.
Bro.
Okay, but before we talk Elden Ring and Death Stranding and about that, let me talk about some other things Summer Game Fest announced that is really cool. And I'm just going to be honest. Metal Slug Tactics, really cool. Gets a really cool for me. Metal Slug is great. I think it's a great arcade game to play with friends. I'm tired of all the HD remakes because that game doesn't get any better with each HD remake. It's just the same game.
Yep.
Just over and over. So Metal Slug Tactics, though. Okay, yeah. Now you have breathed new life into the series.
Yes.
That was the correct choice to go. Excellent. Look forward to that.
Me too.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Fantasy meets Borderlands. I'm going to say this right now. I don't know what the hell that game is going to be. With that said, based off the trailer, I don't know how anyone, you know, revitalizes the shooter genre, but I think Tiny Tina's Wonderland is going to try its damnedest based off that trailer.
My wife watched that trailer with me and she hated it. I don't understand her sometimes, but I still love her to death. The trailer looked cool, man. I mean, but it's Borderlands, or at least it's Borderlands-esque, and it looks beautiful. But who knows?
Who
Did they
knows?
did they really need to do Wonderlands? I'm sorry, like come on. And they had the audacity to just say it's not a Borderlands spin-off; it's a standalone. Borderlands, Wonderlands, like I see something wrong there. But that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
So, okay, I'm gonna say this real quick. When I was watching the trailer and I saw all those celebrities' names drop, I was like,
Mhm.
we're entering that realm of gaming where it's just gonna be like, how close are we until where names where they try to sell a game with names? Because I swear that's what they tried to do here. I was
Yeah.
just like, Wanda Sykes, oh, didn't see that coming. Andy Samberg, okay. Will Arnett,
Will
well, he's in like
Arnett. Yeah.
he's in everything, but I'm just
Right.
like, okay, this is. I mean, they're not all A-listers, but they're high enough.
Yeah.
They're
No,
high enough to raise an
absolutely.
eyebrow.
I think we are there. You look at just look at the slow build up to it. Kevin Spacey, now Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk, and now all these celebrities in Wonderlands. I think it's happening. I think the melding, the molding, or the melding of like Hollywood and video games is slowly starting to come together. Very slowly, of course, but I think we're going to continue to see more and more celebs participate in the games industry. Um, I just want, Jack Black and Will Ferrell in one game, and I think we're cool. We can stop at that point.
That's the point where it's like, all right, people, we've had our fun. We should stop this.
Yep. That's like the apex. Like you reach the top of the top at that point, you just can't do any better than that.
Yeah. And then we got some other cool things like Jurassic World Evolution is getting a sequel. That's cool. Solar Ash is coming out, and that's one of the games that we hinted at this last show, but that's one of those games like we're gonna need a lot of games this generation that just look next gen. They don't
Hmm.
necessarily be good or bad, but they just look pretty. It makes
Yeah.
it feel next gen, and I think Solar Ash falls in that category.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
This is kind of late, but Jurassic World Evolution 2. Does the main theme song of Jurassic Park like always kind of like move you?
It doesn't move me in the sense to like it doesn't give me an emotional response, but it does, it's what's the word I'm looking for here? It does with its motif. It's a light motif. When I hear it, I instantly think Jurassic Park. I think anything related to the IP. I feel like watching the movie. So I'll say
Yeah.
it moves me in that way, not emotionally, but like the familiarity with the brand, and it usually creates something like, "Oh, I'm probably gonna like this."
Yeah. I was thinking like, man, I'm not really much of like a sim park building gamer, but if you play that song the whole time through, I'm pretty sure I can sit there for hours and just play this game.
Oh, I can see that. I can feel that. I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't play sim parks either, but if I was to play one, it would probably be Jurassic Park.
Only if I can let the dinosaurs loose at the time of my choosing.
Of course you can.
Sweet. I'm in, dude. Let's go.
It's like a Grand Theft Auto. You could play the game right and do the things, or you could just build up some dinosaurs and just have them eat everyone and call it a day.
Um,
Games are what you make them. That's what makes them special.
I agree.
All right, Frank. So let's go. Which one do you want to start with? Elden Ring or Death Stranding director's cut?
Man, this is your show, dude. You pick because like either way you go, I got some things to say. And do
All
we
right.
want to make people happy or
All right.
smiley?
Let's start with the short one, but really probably we have more to talk about. Death Stranding director's cut. And I remember you're a big Death Stranding fan, which is actually rare to find. You'll find people
Yes.
crap on it. 7 Ways to Sunday. One, do you think Death Stranding really needed a director's cut?
I asked that same question about the people who cried for the Snyder cut. Yes. Why not, dude? If Kojima's gonna do a director's cut of Death Stranding, I'd happily play it again. Like, does it need it? To answer your question strictly, no, I don't think Death Stranding needs a director cut per se, but I'll take it. Why not? Now it's kind of shisty that I bought the game on PlayStation 4 and I bought it on PC and I'm gonna buy it on PS5. But hey, if it keeps my boy Kojima pumping out games, I'll be happy to support him.
All right. I'm going to lie. This pisses me off for a multitude of reasons. One, how do you need a director's cut game for a game you made free from anyone's control? That's on a fundamental level. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. That just fundamentally annoys me. That's like I make Odell Productions, release Odell the game, and then come out with Odell's director cut. This whole thing has been a director's cut.
I didn't think of it that way. That is true. Like, how do you direct your own game and still have a director's cut? Like,
From your own production studio.
Right. Maybe it was Sony. Maybe it was Sony saying, "Hey, you can't put this or leave this out or too much."
Maybe. I don't know the whole story. But I digress. The thing that makes me mad is just like, bro, do not give me Metal Gear Solid Remake 1.
Let's go.
Do not do that to me.
Go.
Unless that game is coming out, unless there's an announcement about to be made, do not do that to me.
Stop that. Let's break this stuff down. Sorry. Let's break this down right now. This wasn't a trailer for Death Stranding director cut. That's the facade. That's the farce. All of you people are falling for it. This was the pre-announcement trailer for the Metal Gear Solid remake that's about to get announced soon. You got the box. You got the oranges from Metal Gear Solid 2 in the tanker level. You know what I'm talking about? When you walk into one of the rooms in the ship and it's like a little pantry.
Yeah, it's like the storage for the kitchen. Yeah.
Yes, those are all oranges. They got oranges in this game too. All right. When he looks down at the floor and there's a vent and a rat crawls through, that's Shadow Moses written all over it. The fashion in which these soldiers or whatever they were are walking around in this warehouse that looks mysteriously like the first part of the Metal Gear Solid. Nah, dude. This was no Death Stranding trailer. This was an announcement for Metal Gear. He was just telling us without telling us. I don't want to hear it.
And okay, we all know the legal problems with Konami that will probably prevent a Metal Gear Solid remake from happening. In a similar vein of why we don't have a Banjo-Kazooie, remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just like, don't do this to us. Because that would be amazing. And it looked amazing. The music was from Metal Gear. Or Metal Gear-esque, if it wasn't the exact music.
Yep.
And I don't know. It is Kojima, so the director's cut could literally just be Metal Gear 1 with a Death Stranding skin, which would be hilarious. I would stand from the tallest mountain and sing his praises if that was the case.
I think that because of all the possible legal implications of that would happen if something like the fact that Kojima went this far into doing all these little teasers and Easter eggs for Metal Gear in this announcement trailer for the director's cut is maybe this is just wishful thinking, but it's very strong evidence that there probably is something coming up though, because of the fact that Konami, if this wasn't sanctioned or approved by Konami, there'd be some trouble there. That trouble that nobody
even from this trailer.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? They could. The music itself is too alike, dude. It's way too similar. It's way too similar. And I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know. Maybe they can do that, but I'm also very I'm gonna die on this hill, dude. That I really want this to be a thing, to where in a week we're talking about Metal Gear Solid Remake Blue Point's next game.
All right, if it is cool, and bro, if we get they're doing 1, 2, and 3. Oh, Oh, I could
Stop.
die happy.
Stop, dude. Please
Oh,
stop.
oh, hey,
Oh
hey,
my god, dude.
oh, just, oh, man, just, oof, oof. You know
Bro,
what? Oh,
if they do 1, 2, and 3, like, I don't need to play anything else for quite some time. I don't, I'm not ready for that, but I don't want to get myself too hyped on that new because the likelihood of that happening is probably so small. But man, if they do that, Odell, I don't know. I'll buy us pizza or something to
I,
celebrate.
I'm down. Hey, if Final Fantasy VII could happen and have like 5 games, then why not?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
All right. So Francisco, I need you to be a little cynical on this one. We got the Elden Ring announcement, but I'm
Oh
gonna be
Lord.
honest. I did not find it that surprising. Like at this point, it was it was very much in the expected pile. Granted, did I think it was gonna be announced today? No, not really. But announced.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be announced at all today. Like that caught me way off guard. The other thing, I think the biggest disappointment for me out of this trailer is that I threw my PlayStation 3 away some time ago, so now I can't play Elden Ring. That's okay, so that's a stretch, but um yeah, man. So, I mean, I'm happy for the people that have been looking forward to the game. I'm happy for everyone who is happy at what they got today, but the game doesn't look next gen, bro. And I know that like games aren't all about visuals and graphics, but you're from software, you've put out quite a few games already. Like, how does Blue Point remake one of your games for current gen make it look way better than your new IP? That's unacceptable.
I agree.
Like, absolutely unacceptable. That's like you coming over to my house when I still had my Switch and you trying to beat me in Smash Bros. Like, not gonna happen in my own home, dude. You know what I mean? Like, no,
All
no,
right.
no.
So here's my thing. I will say it did look fluid. It looked fluid,
Hmm.
very fluid. Like I was like, oh, okay. You know, from software games, combat wise, is usually extremely clunky looking. Let's be real.
Yes,
That's not.
yes.
That's not it. Not. I'm not taking shots. Just the truth. It's just a fact. But this combat looked very fluid. That impressed me. Visually, I'm in my head. So I have this defense mechanism in my brain that tells me anytime a game that doesn't look as good as it honestly should, I just say this is alpha footage. This is alpha footage. Don't trip. And then most times it doesn't end up being alpha footage. Or let me put it like this: the alpha, if it is alpha footage, it is very close to the finished product.
Right. Especially with it coming out in January. I'm sorry to be the voice of reason, but January 21st, dude, and it looks like this now. But I don't want to be like I don't want people to think I'm a negative Nancy because I'm really, really, truly not. But I'll say this: you're right on the gameplay. So the gameplay does look a heck of a lot more fluid. But I've also noticed it feels like it has more like action. I know this sounds stupid because it's an action game already to begin with, but it feels like it has more of an action open world RPG feel to it, right? So it's probably still going to have the difficulty renowned that From Software is renowned for, but I feel it's going to be a little bit more action sided as well.
Almost definitely. George R. Martin is on it, so I'm pretty sure the story is gonna be cool. But it pretty much took over the airways as it was announced. Summer Game
Yep.
Fest might as well have been, hey, we announced Elden Ring and nothing else matters. And
Props to
Elden
Jeff
Ring,
Keighley, man.
yeah.
Sorry.
And so Elden Ring to me, this is gonna be my spicy take. It's one of those things where I know people are looking forward to, and I know people have every right to be excited about. But to me, a game reaches a nexus of I've been waiting so long, and when it happens, it feels like I can no longer be excited for it. And that's kind of where Elden Ring sits for me.
I um I was excited when it was first announced, like a bunch of other people, right? Like everyone else and her mom. And I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, not because I dislike it, but because I just never watched it. Did your eyes just get really big when I said that?
No, no, no. That is fair. I
So
mean, Game of Thrones honestly is not a show for everyone.
right, I'll tell you the story some other time as to what actually happened for me not to watch that. But anyway, um, so George R. R. Martin being on the game doesn't really mean anything good or bad to me. It's just, oh, he's on the game, cool. But the more time that progressed without really finding anything out about the game, like without being told anything about it, the more I lost interest in it, right? Because there's other things coming out, other things with more information, etc. And then you get the trailer today, which is a very pleasant surprise. But it is disappointing to see that it's just not hitting some of the check boxes that I feel a $60 or $70 game should be hitting, especially at those price points.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. Remember, we keep beating this dead horse, but there's no other way around it. You have to look next gen
Mm-hmm.
and feel it. But at this point, I'm gonna say normally I'm usually in the your game needs to feel, but no, I'm at the point where like no, it needs to look.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say this Final Fantasy 16, 16, right? That's the new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I saw that trailer, I was like, this looks like garbage.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Okay, that might be a
You're
little
gonna.
harsh, but it definitely
It
didn't
was
look
not
next
harsh.
gen.
I'll have to look at it again. Maybe I was jaded at the time that it came out, because that happens a lot too, right? So
Yeah.
like, you get all hyped, but okay, that's fair.
We'll revisit that at the top of next show. But yes, but I am excited for the people who have been looking forward to this because
Yep.
as someone who waited for Kingdom Hearts 3, that feeling of dear God is finally happening is amazing. And unlike
And then it
Kingdom Hearts
happens.
3, I hope you were just you know tickled pink at the game you receive, unlike I was.
Man, I
I
don't
was
even want to
tickled but
talk
not
about Kingdom
pinked.
Hearts
How about
3.
that? I enjoyed it, but not as much as I should have.
Do you follow Shinobi 602 on Twitter?
I do not.
I think Shinobi's actually like somebody big in the industry. I could be wrong. They have like this person has 85,000 followers. Anyways, this person's been tweeting a whole bunch of screenshots from Elden Ring today, right?
Oh, that's
And
the person that okay. I do not follow them, but yes, I've been seeing the screenshot dump.
dude, the screenshots and the trailer tell completely
Really
different
different,
stories
yes,
visually.
yes, yes, they do.
And I literally commented, I mean, I'm nobody, so he's not gonna respond. But like I commented like, okay, so who's lying? The trailer or the screenshots? Because this looks completely different, dude. I'm looking at a very different game right now.
Oh,
Marketing.
yeah.
Great job, marketing.
Only time's gonna tell, right?
Dude.
But
We'll get our next Kingdom Hearts fixed by then.
oh, most definitely. But that's it for this week, people. We're gonna keep it nice and concise this week. Rein it in a little bit because next week we're probably going to have a crazy show. There's no,
Curveball.
yeah. Next show, excuse my language, will be balls to the walls. Insane. One way or the other. It will be extreme hype, extreme disappointment, a little bit of both. I don't know, but I guarantee you next week is not a show you want to miss.
Dude, not by a long shot. Odell, curveball. Ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Last minute get hype, crazy, holy crap announcement. Guess. Give me one.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. We get the trailer and release year, if not date, for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. No one is going to be
Nice.
expecting that.
Nice.
Not especially after, the DLC with Yuffie that just dropped. No one, if I really think Square is going to drop Part 2 on us. And maybe something crazy as a release date as early as March, February next year. Just to keep in line with the original release window of Part 1.
Okay. Okay. I got one for us too, dude.
All right.
This is wishful thinking, and I'm a fanboy, but it's okay. It's okay. PlayStation has acquired the licenses and rights to Metal Gear, Castlevania, and other Konami IPs. and they launch a state of play next week after E3 is over.
With those titles being in works with PlayStation Studios and Kojima Productions, bro, I would lose it. I would go ape.
Yep. Oh, and Silent Hills is still a thing.
Oh, bro, I don't even play scary games, and I would geek at that announcement.
That would be so legendary. That was PT was probably the best horror experience I have ever had, and I despise playing horror games because they're terrifying. They are absolutely terrifying, and that's why I love them, because they're really good at what they do. If that game comes out, that's oh man.
You know, I'm telling you, it's my big guess goes in line with what I said last week. Square Enix may steal the show this year. I'm really not basing it off of anything except gut feeling. I really think Square's going to have a phenomenal show this year. I don't have any insider knowledge. I don't have any super investigative reporting that proves that. This is pure gamer instinct right here.
What if Sony bought Square and Square's conference turns into the? Never mind, that's too far.
But if it did, I don't even know. I don't even know. But in case the people want to talk to you about it, Frank, where can they find you at?
Yeah, ladies and gents, you can find me over on Twitter at @GNR_Frank, and you can find me on YouTube, so you can watch all my shenanigans at youtube.com/GNRFrank.
Yeah. And people, you can find me at Harmon Jr. You can find the podcast at FC Podcast 23 on Twitter. And you can find the podcast on Patreon at Full Circle Productions. And I want to thank my patrons, Gabriel Garcia, Ryan Frazier, Bake Rice, Gabriel Cleveland, Rachel Coleman. And you could be a Patreon if you choose. But remember, you can like, share, subscribe for free $99. Literally, that's all you have to do to increase the show's popularity, rating, viewership, etc., etc., etc. So appreciate that. And thank you for joining us each and every week. You know how we do it. So, like I said, you don't want to miss next week's show. It's been a great week. Frank, thank you again for joining me on the show for this wild ride and keeping your spicy takes reasonable. I don't have to burn no one's house down this week, so thank you for
that. So how we moved on from the fact that I sold my Switch yet?
No, we have not. We have not. But trust me. Okay. Trust me. Nintendo's gonna announce. But once Nintendo announcements come out, I'm gonna laugh at you. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm gonna be laughing at you for not having a Switch, because they like to do a lot of the "this is out today" drops and announcements. So we'll see.
The only thing that would compel me to buy a Nintendo Switch right now. This is so bad. If they put like all Metal Gear games on there right now. But no, when a Switch Pro comes out, I'm picking one up.
All right, cool. That's all we need to know.
But yes, ladies and gents, thank you all so much. Odell, thank you for having me yet again, sir. I really appreciate it. It's been a good time, man.
All right, thank you for being here. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you next week. As always, be safe, be happy, be blessed.
Peace.